Hey, welcome back to That God Power. This is the channel where we're going to unlock the God Power laying dormant on the inside of you. But first today, we're going to continue breaking down the book of Genesis. Oh my God, this is taking us so long to finish. We are almost done. We have about 12 more chapters to go. This is chapter 39. If you joined us last time, you saw chapter 38, so you know that the main character right now is Joseph. So let's continue to follow Joseph's story and see where this takes us. So, when Joseph was taken to Egypt by the Ishmaelite traders, he was purchased by Potiphar, an Egyptian officer. Potiphar was captain of the guard for Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. The Lord was with Joseph, so he succeeded in everything he did as he served the home of his Egyptian master. So, first of all, Joseph got sold, remember, by his brothers, and so now he's in Egypt. And he got bought by this officer of the king of Egypt, which is called Pharaoh. So he's living in the officer's house. So Potiphar noticed that God was blessing him, and he realized that the Lord was with Joseph, giving him success in everything he did. This pleased Potiphar, so he soon made Joseph his personal attendant. So Joseph went from being a slave to getting ranked up to be a personal attendant in the house of this dude named Potiphar, who is not a servant, but an officer of he's a high person in Egypt, put it like that. So if bro's an attendant at the house, now Joseph is high as well. He put him in charge of his entire household and everything he owned. From the day that Joseph was put in charge of his master's household and property, the Lord began to bless Potiphar's household for Joseph's sake. All his household affairs ran smoothly, and his crops and livestock flourished. So Potiphar gave Joseph complete administrative responsibility over everything he owned. With Joseph there, he didn't worry about a thing except what kind of food to eat. So Potiphar knew that this guy Joseph was being blessed by God, and he was like, wow, when I have this guy around, things are just good. And so he let it roll. He lets it roll. He keeps on moving. Without even bothering him. So I remember he bought him as like a servant, and now he's like has full admin control over the whole household. So Joseph rose through the ranks, and he didn't do it himself. Obviously, the guy Potiphar saw that God was with Joseph, and so that's what pushed him up higher through the ranks, at least in Potiphar's mind, and that's what Potiphar gave him that access. Joseph was a very handsome and well-built young man, and Potiphar's wife soon began to look at him lustfully. "Come and sleep with me," she demanded, but Joseph refused. He said, "Look, my master trusts me with everything in his entire household. No one here has more authority than I do. He has held back nothing from me except you, because you're his wife. How could I do such a wicked thing? It would be a great sin against God." So Joseph's mind was in the right place. This lady, temptress. There's so many of them still out there today. These women that be having husbands, be looking at you all like, girl, if you don't look at your husband, don't do that to me. Anyways, she kept on trying to pressure Joseph day after day, but he refused to sleep with her. And he kept out of her way as much as possible. So he was ducking and diving. He was not trying to see this lady. One day, however, no one else was around when he went in to do his work. She came and grabbed him by his cloak, demanding, "Come on, sleep with me, Joseph." And Joseph tore himself away, but he left his cloak in her hand as he ran away from the house. So she yanked him up. She's like, "You're going to sleep with me. You're going to sleep." And he's like, "No, no." And he broke away. And in that breaking away, he left his cloak. You know what I'm saying? So we already know. I bet if you have any kind of sense of what happens in stories, you might know what's about to happen here. Oh, buddy. When she saw that she was holding the cloak he had, and he fled, she called out to his servants, or her servants, and soon all the men came running. "Look," she said, "my husband has brought this Hebrew slave here to make fools of us. He came into my room to rape me, but I screamed. When he heard me scream, he ran outside and got away, but he left his cloak behind with me." See, this lady is evil. I didn't think she was going to take it quite that far, right? I thought maybe she was going to say he tried to do something to her. But this lady flat out said that he violated her. Now, remember, we're in the kingdom of Egypt right now. And the rules ain't the same as it was in the wilderness back in Canaan, all this, where there's just regular king. This is a big city, huge city. So that's not about to fly, bro. Like, this is a high-ranking guard's wife in Egypt. So I don't think this is going to go well at all. So she kept the cloak with her until the husband came home. Then she told him her story, that the Hebrew slave you brought into our house tried to come in and fool around with me. But when I screamed, he ran outside, leaving his cloak with me. Liar. Okay, Joseph was put in prison now. Okay, so Potiphar was furious when he heard his wife's story about how Joseph had treated her. So he took Joseph and threw him into the prison where the king's prisoners were held. And there he remained. But the Lord was with Joseph in the prison and showed him his faithful love right there in the prison. And the Lord made Joseph a favorite with the prison warden. So now, all right, so everywhere Joseph goes, he's like going to the top people or somewhere around the top and getting buddy-buddy with them. Even when he got thrown in jail, the warden now is buddy-buddy with Joseph, bro. So before long, the warden put Joseph in charge of all the other prisoners and over everything that happened in the prison. The warden had no more worries because Joseph took care of everything. The Lord was with him and caused everything he did to succeed. So Joseph just keeps living the same story. He got sold into slavery. Well, the person he got sold to was like, dang, bro, it's cool. Everything is happening good. God is good. And so he moved him up in rank. That something happened with him. He got thrown in jail. Now, in jail, the warden's like, wow, everything is happening good because of this guy. And he moves him up in rank. So that's the end of chapter 39. Curious to see what's going to happen in chapter 40 because we have been rolling. And now we only have 10 more chapters to go, y'all. Like, we're getting through this. So hopefully you learned something in chapter 39. Oh, that girl. But we will continue the story in chapter 40. But the most important thing, forgot to tell you guys. You just got to remember that you got that God power. On your heart, tugging on your... Get them.